Okay, so what if you could do more than just talk to an AI? I mean, really get in there. What if you could visually design its brain? Tell it exactly how to think, what tools to use, and what decisions to make. Well, that's the promise of OpenAI's new agent builder. And let me tell you, it's a huge leap beyond the simple text prompt we're all used to. You know the drill, right? We've all gotten so used to interacting with AI through that one little text box. We type something in, we get a response back. But what happens when you need the AI to follow a really complex, multi-step process? All of a sudden, that simple text box starts to feel pretty limiting, doesn't it? And this is where it gets really interesting. This is the core difference. Look, custom GPTs are fantastic for those single prompt tasks. But the agent builder, it's in a completely different league. We're moving from just chatting with an AI to visually designing its entire workflow. This means we're shifting from simple tasks to some seriously complex logic. And that gives us a level of control we just haven't had before. So, to really get a handle on this, here's our plan. First, we'll look at why this visual approach is such a game changer. Then, we're going to dive right into the visual canvas to see its building blocks. After that, we'll break down the three core components that make it all tick, watch a simple workflow in action, and finally, the fun part, we'll explore the incredible things you can actually build with this thing. So, the big shift here is moving from prompting to designing. Instead of trying to cram all this complex logic into one giant text prompt, which can get messy, right? You're actually mapping out the entire conversational flow. You get to decide exactly what happens if a user asks a certain question, which tools the AI should grab, and precisely what path the logic should follow. Okay, but it's really important to know who this is for. Let's set expectations. While it's a drag and drop tool that feels super accessible, this is not just a simple chatbot maker. As one early user put it, it's a lot more developer-focused. No, you don't need to be a hardcore coder, but it is designed for building robust, logic-driven systems, which means you kind of have to think a little bit more like a programmer. This visual canvas is the absolute heart of the agent builder. It's your playground. It's this drag-and-drop environment where you literally map out your AI's thought process, piece by piece. Each of these little blocks is a node, and it represents a specific action or a decision. You just connect them to build out the agent's logic. And it's these simple blocks that let you create really sophisticated logic. You've got your main agent nodes. Think of those as the AI brains of the operation. You have logic nodes like if-else for decision-making. You can add tool nodes for things like web search. And crucially, safety nodes like guardrails to prevent harmful content or people trying to jailbreak the AI to get around its safety instructions. When you break it all down, it's actually pretty simple. To really get this, you just need to understand how three core components work together. The entire system boils down to the agent, the chat kit, and widgets. So first up, you have the agent itself. Think of this as a specialized worker. This is not a general-purpose, do-it-all chatbot. It's an AI you configure with very specific instructions, tools like web search or file search, and the ability to reason through a problem to complete a very specific task you've assigned it. All right, so you've built your specialized agent. Now, how do people actually use it? That's where the chat kit comes in. It's the bridge that takes that complex workflow you designed and lets you easily embed it right into a website or an app, complete with a customizable chat window. And this last component is what makes the whole experience feel less like a chatbot and more like an actual app: widgets. Instead of just replying with text, an agent can present an interactive element, like a weather widget with icons and temperatures, an e-commerce shopping cart, or a calendar for booking a meeting. It creates a much, much richer user experience. All right, so enough theory. Theory is great, but let's see it in action. Let's walk through a simple, practical example to see how these different nodes and pieces actually work together to handle a user's request. Okay, check this out. This simple example really shows how you can build real logic. A user asks for the weather. The first agent's only job is to classify the request. Does this need the internet? It decides yes and passes that decision on. An if-else node then routes the workflow to a second, totally separate agent that's equipped with the web search tool. That agent does the search and delivers the answer. See? It's like a tiny assembly line of specialized AIs. So, once you really wrap your head around this concept of building workflows with specialized agents and tools, what can you actually create? The potential is just massive for both internal business tools and public-facing applications. I mean, just think about it. You could build an e-commerce agent that doesn't just answer questions, but actually processes returns. Or an internal agent that searches your company's knowledge base and analyzes that on the fly. You could create AI travel advisors that build out full itineraries or custom sales bots that qualify new leads. The whole point is that these agents can follow complex, predefined logical paths to get real work done.
What this really does is it democratizes the creation of sophisticated AI tools. We're moving way beyond just having a conversation and into the realm of building real functional applications with a visual interface. So the real question this leaves us with is, if anyone can build this kind of complex custom AI, what will you create?